Thank you.
Morning, darling. Good morning. Nabila.
Good morning, councillors. Ladies and gentlemen, let us all please rise to welcome the Speaker of Council, Councillor Vasco da Gama.
Good morning, councillors. Can we all just rise for a moment of silence? Thank you. You may be seated. You can read out the...
Good morning, councillors. It is hereby notified that the fourth ordinary council meeting of the City of Johannesburg Municipality will be held at the Constance Konibabela Chamber, Metropolitan Centre in Braamfontein on Tuesday, 26th April 2022 at 10 a.m. The first item on the agenda is the opening.
Executive Mayor of the City of Johannesburg, Councillor Mpho Palazzi, Whip of Council, Councillor Tyrell Meyers, all political party leaders and whips, members of the mayoral committee, chairs of chairs, Councillor Colleen Makubele, chairpersons of Section 79 committees, fellow councillors, acting city manager, acting secretary to council, Mr. Andile Kubinka, officials of the city of Johannesburg, residents of the city of Johannesburg, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you all to the fourth ordinary council meeting of the city of Johannesburg municipality. Firstly, allow me to thank you for all your messages of condolences and support over the past weekend on the bereavement of my son. I received a lot of messages from the councillors, and I really want to thank you. My family also thanks you. We really appreciate them all. I would like to once more request that we all stand for a moment of silence for the souls that were lost and the lives in the recent floods in KwaZulu-Natal, and also for those that have perished during the wars and conflict in Ukraine, Afghanistan, Ethiopia, and Yemen. Thank you, councillors. You may be seated. It is unfortunate, to say the least, that so many perished, and it is a grim reminder that global warming and climate change are very real. It is a worldwide problem, and it is not a choice but a necessity that we take immediate steps to change our behavior by making more sustainable and eco-friendly decisions in how we govern the country, run our businesses, and live as work within our communities. To our Jewish councillors and communities, I trust that the Passover period was filled with blessings. To our Muslim councillors and communities, Ramadan Mubarak. As you are aware, we successfully completed the community-based participation processes, and we are currently rolling out the integrated development plan sessions. To date, we have held 7 IDP sessions, 2 of which was targeted stakeholders. Just one announcement, the venue for Region C IDP on the 30th of April has changed from Roodepoort City Hall to Cosmos City Multi-Purpose Center. Please take note of that. Ward committee elections will also begin in the beginning of May. The elections will be run over 4 days, Saturdays in May, and the venues will be communicated in due course. With those words, you are all welcome. Before we continue with the meeting, can legal please assist with the verification of the numbers of councillors present so that we can determine a quorum. Councillors, in the meantime, I'd really plead with you, those councillors that have not signed the register, please to ensure that you do sign the register. The second issue is around the complaints surrounding the abolition facilities out there. Councillors, please. Councillors are complaining that we are messing on the floor, and even the staff, the cleaning staff, is complaining about that. Please let's have some toilet etiquette in ensuring that, the ladies that have to really sit on those seats don't sit in a mess, but that you leave the abolition facilities as clean as you found them. The staff is really trying their best to assist. Even so, please close the door behind you when you are in the toilet, because remember, it's for both men and women. I think those are some of the issues that I just wanted to address here. Thank you. Can we get the numbers? 2 minutes. Okay. Councillors, I've also received letters from the executive for the elevation of, first of all, the motions just after the questions to the executive and the mayor, and later during the day, just after lunch, for the elevation of HR items, which will be dealt with in committee. Yeah, that's about it. And we'll just ensure that we distribute those items just before lunch. Councillors, we do have a quorum. Currently, there is 160, which basically means that we can continue. There is still councillors coming in, and I'll give you the adjusted figure later on. Yes.
We're moving on to the second item, which is application for leave of absence.
Any leaves of absences? Councillor, please rise. Just press the button. It will show yes. Show. Can we get?
It's not working. Thank you. Thank you, Speaker. There's only one leave of absence from Action SA. It's Councillor Ntembu, private business. Thank you.
Okay. Press the button. Okay. Can we get a mic to the councillor there?
Morning, Speaker. From ANC, we've got Councillor Godfrey Settler, bereavement, and Councillor Masuku will arrive late. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor. Any further leaves of absences? Right at the back. Right at the back there. Councillor Ahmad.
Thank you, Speaker. Councillor Musa. Religious commitment.
Councillor, will you just repeat that? I didn't hear it.
Councillor Imran Musa.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Reddy, right in the middle here. If we can just get the mic there. Councillor Reddy. Yes.
Thank you, Speaker. Councillor Magwenshu has said that he's on his way. He's running late. He's on his way from Durban, but he's here, so he's on his way. He's running late. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Reddy. We'll note that. Is there any other? No. Councillor Reddy, just switch off your mic. Thanks a lot. Councillors, I have not received any apologies. Those that have been mentioned by the whips, we will note them as you've mentioned them. There is still one announcement. Thanks. That's fine. Please rise. Can you give the mic there, please? Councillor Dummy. Yeah.
Speaker, we request speakers list, please.
Speakers list, is it being distributed? Not yet. What's happening? Please distribute the speakers list. I have one, so everybody else should have one. Did all the other councillors receive the speakers list? No? Okay. Councillors, especially the whips, can I just please plead with you that the changes that you make in the morning, please be earlier than 9 o'clock, because the staff actually battles to compile the speakers list, and that's the reason why it always arrives in council late. If we can please just up our game at least 2 hours before the time or the night before, send in our speakers so that the staff can also be assisted and not bring the speakers list this late. So we'll distribute the speakers list while we continue. Councillors, the applications for leave of absences, is it agreed to? Thank you.
We're moving on to official notices, which is our third item.
Councillors, please join me in wishing well the following councillors that are celebrating their birthdays during the month of April. Councillor Benson, Councillor Bolani, Councillor Dlamini, Councillor Danjwa, not here yet, Councillor Kwamanda, Councillor Mabuke, Councillor Mashava, Councillor Maila, Councillor Mazibuko, Councillor Mufukeng, Councillor Mulala, Councillor Muhala, Councillor Ntombela, Councillor Mpometsi, Councillor Reinton, Councillor Sikwela, Councillor Sifumba, Councillor Sitole, Councillor Smith, Councillor Tabane, Councillor Wilskut, and Councillor Moatsi, all celebrating their birthdays during this month.
We now move to the statement by the Executive Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and welcome back. There is no statement by the Executive. MFC not. Greetings to all councillors and all the best today. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
The fourth item is on confirmation of minutes, and these minutes are as follows. The minutes for the second special meeting held on Wednesday, on the 16th of March, 2022, and also minutes of the third ordinary meeting held on Wednesday and Thursday, 16th and 17th March, 2022.
Councillors, is there any amendments on the minutes? No. They're all correct. Sure. That's perfect. That's perfect. Councillors, is the minutes therefore agreed to? Thank you very much.
Item 5, which are questions for oral reply, of which notice has been given in terms of Rule 105, subsection 1 of the Standing Rules and Orders of Council.
Councillor Mate. Is Councillor Mate here? Oh, yes. You rise, sir. Councillor Mate, your question to Councillor Sauls. To MMC Sauls, the first. Councillors, can I just get the mic at the back? Just put on your mic so that they can see where you are. The mic, please. Can I just get the staff to take a mic to Councillor Mate there? Die mic die kry. Thank you.
Hello? 1, 2, 1, 2.
You can continue,
Mic
Councillor.
check, 1, 2, 1, 2. Greetings, everyone. My name is Gifty Malapane Mate. My question is based on health, which is Hedwake Councillor Sauls. Councillor Sauls, we're having a clinic in Zone 4, which is Shawela Clinic, which is servicing more than, not 25,000, almost more than 150,000 population around almost Zone 4. In fact, not only Zone 4, which is Marafi Hostel Dwellers, Shawela Ward 11 and Ward 12, Klesprate West, Dlamini, Kliptown, Rockville, Molapo, Mapetla, and Shawela Flats, including Morafi Hostel, Piri, Protea North, and Naledi Extension 2. As a result, the residents of Ward 16 are experiencing a poor service from that facility. It is, however, known that during the 2011 and 2012 financial year, budget was allocated towards the building of a new clinic where it used to be a Mabewana Primary School. So my question is that, what happened to the allocated budget? And another question is that, when is the new clinic to be built for the resident of Ward 16? Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Mate. MMC Souls. Please, can we get a mic to MMC Souls the first?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Councillor Mate, in terms of the records, there has never been a CAPEX budget allocation for a new clinic in Shawelo as per the reports for financial year 2011 and 2012. And also, just on a matter of clarity, Klesprate West is not using the clinic in Shawelo, which is actually not a clinic, it's the community health center. And the only thing that we have as COJ Health Department is a training center that we use to train our nurses. So the only budget that was allocated was for the upgrade of the training center. But Klesprate West, for example, doesn't use that community health center. It has a clinic itself in Ward 11 in Klesprate West itself. Then in terms of, so that's to the first question of what happened to the budget. There was no budget allocated for a new clinic. The second question, when will the new clinic be built for Ward 16? Even as we speak, there is no allocated budget to build a new clinic in Ward 16. But the clinics that services Ward 16 is Senyuani Clinic, the Tlari Clinic, Protea South Clinic, and of course the Community Health Center. I hope that answers your question, Councillor. Thank you.
Councillor Mate, is there a follow-up? Can I please get the mics there to both councillors so that we don't have to wait?
Councillor Sauls, you were not there during that time. And then also chairperson, it was Mr. Gabriel. He's the one who allocated that budget. He said that if you are hesitating about the budget, we must come to your office. Last time I requested an appointment to come to your office. You didn't give me any answer for that. Kindly give me a chance so that I can explain to you. I can give you I can present to you the entire project. Because they came and launched the project in Ward 16.
Thank you, Councillor. Let's just, let me just direct that we should actually be asking a follow-up question. Let's keep it that way. But MMC, you can respond.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Councillor, we looked at the actual budget that you were speaking or referring to in your question of 2011-2012. Upon looking at the CAPEX budget, there was no allocation for a brand new clinic there. So I'm not sure who your source is, But our source is what is for the record. And as you say, I wasn't there, so therefore we had to go look at the records, unless we are questioning the records. But maybe I should say to you, and I should say to every councillor in this house, I'm here, and together with you are here to serve the residents of the city. And if you want to come and see myself, the door is more than open. If it relates to our portfolio and we can make services better, you are most welcome to come. I have not received a request for a meeting formally at my office. It's the first time I'm hearing it. But just for the record, you are most welcome to come, my leader. Thank you.
Thank you very much, MMC. Councillor Rapadu, on a question for MMC Housing Mabaso.
Thank you. Nake testa.
Ish, thanks.
Oh, we timile gape. Usabuya. I thought you'll change on a motion. But it's fine. MMC Mabaso, during late 2010 to early 2011, the Department of Housing allocated RDP houses to the residents of Extension 9 and Extension 10, where other RDP houses came with rental rooms. The department facilitated the allocation of residents who were qualifying for housing subsidy, who were not qualifying for housing subsidy, to rent the back rooms. This allocation arrangement has caused unforeseen disputes between the RDP house owners, the tenants on the rental rooms, because of not honoring the rental agreement that was signed between both parties. My question is, MMC Mabaso, what is the department's plans towards resolving the housing allocation arrangement there, where there is a tenant and an owner in the same property at the same time? That's number one. What could happen to the residents occupying the rental room once the owners receive their title deeds? Because this is causing a lot of anxiety to the people staying in those units there. Is the department in possession of the lease agreements given to the tenants? Lastly, is the department going to reimburse tenants that have already renovated their rental rooms? Double story. RTP. So we want to know, and the community is watching Councillor Mabaso for those answers, because people have been stabbed, people are fighting, and continually we have to call the police because of this arrangement that the Department of Housing has put us into this mess. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Rapadu. MMC Mabaso. Unai Mike.
Thank you very much, Speaker, and greetings to all the colleagues. Hey, Speaker, I wonder how did that thing happen? But our understanding is that the development in question is an ARP, which is a presidential project that was implemented by the Gauteng Department of Human Settlement and the Development Planning in the city of Johannesburg. So the Department of Housing in the city of Johannesburg does not have information regarding how this project was implemented. So I think the question should be referred to the development planning or the provincial government, because we are not in possession of any documents of the ARP in the Department of Housing.
Thank you very much, MMC. Councillor Rapadu.
Thanks, Presiding Officer. It's well known that I worked for the ARP, the erstwhile Mashaba. Yes, no. Don't howl. I thought you were better than that. I thought. It's a thought. But
Thank you, councillors. Councillor Rapari, you are protected.
It means I thought wrong, Speaker. The erstwhile mayor, Mr. Mashaba, investigated me for starting the LX shutdown. So people should know it's public record that I worked for the ARP. It's public knowledge. So for me, it's disingenuous what the MMC is saying. Those housing, it was money coming from the city of Johannesburg to build those houses, and it was given to the ARP as the implementing agent on the ground in Alex. And I'm sure of that because the Department of Housing was the ones that were signing lease agreement with the city of Johannesburg logo. So the MMC maybe should get these facts right. But my question is, Mr. Mashaba took all the records when they were investigating the ARP because it was city money that was used there. So please, can the MMC come back to me and give me a proper answer because the residents are waiting with bated breath around this arrangement that is being taking place. So for me, the MMC should get its facts right, but also come and sort out the mess that the housing department has left me with as the ward councillor. Mara.
Councillor Rapari, will you wrap up, please?
I'm being held by the Roger there. So my follow-up question is that when will the MMC come to LX to address the residents of Extension 9 and Extension 10 around this arrangement that we find ourselves? When will he come to address the community? Thank you very much.
Okay,
Mike.
thank you very
Thanks.
much, Speaker. I can go and address the residents, I don't mind. I will talk to my PA and arrange for a day. So I can't commit today here because I'm not running my own diary, so my PA will do that. But Speaker, to be quite honest with this House, there are no documents of ARP in the Department of Housing. There are no documents. So if the councillor says the documents were taken by the then former Mayor Mashaba, then I don't know where are they. And I was not even the MMC by then, so I don't know whether those documents were taken or not. But in the department, there are no documents which speaks to the ARP. And the only thing I know is that the ARP office is with the development planning. Hence, I'm saying maybe the question should be directed to development planning.
Thank you, MMC. You had your chance, Councillor Rapadu. No, there is no point of order. No, it's finished. Pelile. You had two opportunities. No, you can't be. Councillor Mate to Councillor Mabaso. Can I get the mic to Councillor Mate, please? Thanks.
My question is also based on Mr. Mabaso. Mabaso, in Ward 16 Mapetla, from 1994, we have almost 19,000. Okay, he's still busy with his phone. Let's wait so that he can listen intensively.
Councillor Mate.
Yeah, Mr. Mabaso.
Councillor Mate, let me just address you, just to correct one thing. Please, when you address the MMC, please say councillor, not just Mabaso.
I said Mr. Mabaso.
No.
Okay.
It's not Mr., it's councillor.
Or councillor.
Please. No?
Councillor Mabaso, in Ward 16 Mapetla, we're having almost 19,000 people who apply for RTP from 1994 till now. Furthermore, that information, we took it from housing, Mr. Mwabi, he brought that, what you call that report to us. And then, because why he brought that report to us, because of, we made a complaint to say people of Ward 16, we never saw them go Vleuhof. We never saw them go Lehigh. We never saw them go Tshepisong. We never saw him go Orange Farm, go Drizik, Zakaria Park, Freedom Park, Devland. There's no one Ward 16 allocate to more. And then question Nakore, Komapita, really about the budget, which is budget it was for hostel developed into a housing unit, which is that project or community of Ward 16, they registered. I was one of the guys who were doing environmental impact assessment. We were doing house to house, taking what you call, especially hostel, including people by location who had what you call, who registered for housing from 1996. We gave them a chance to come and register for RTP, Zolongorito Aiwako, Marafi Hostel. And then till today, that project came on board and then it was launched and then Hulabali bought a structure, sorry, that hostel is going to be developed. And then the budget, it was also allocated. And then I tried to intervene to talk to you about that project. You were doing hide and seek games. We were playing hide and seek games. Let me tell you something. You can smile into whatever thing that you want to do. But I want to tell you something. We went to Treasury. Treasury, they told us that we must come to your office and inquire about the budget.
Councillor.
That's one of those things. So we would like to know when are we going to implement this project? If the project belongs to housing, kindly intervene to make sure that that project is implemented.
Councillor, please concentrate on the question.
Okay.
And
my question is
the
that...
long stories after that. Please,
okay.
Just the question.
Okay. My question is that when are you going to implement the project?
Thank you.
Yes.
MMC Mabasa.
No, but Speaker, you have to be fair here. You have to be fair here. You are seated there, and the question is right here in front of me, and the council has not asked this question. So he's bringing in a new discussion now. And so I don't know whether I should respond to what he's saying or concentrate on the question.
Councillor Mabaso, unfortunately, I did not get the question that was asked to you, so I don't have it in front of me. But if the written question is not the same as the question asked, you respond to the question that was written.
Well, Speaker, and I have a problem with the question asked as well, because the question is not clear. And I will read the question for the benefit of the council. The question, Speaker, says, during the year 2013, 10 RDP houses were allocated to the residents of Vleuhof. These excluded 18,990 other beneficiaries in areas including Bramfisher, Tshepisong, Lehigh, Lufering, Orange Farm, Drizik, Zakaria Park, Freedom Park, and Devland. So the question is not clear exactly. What is it that they want from the department? So when councillor then stood up, then that's when he started to make mention of Ward 16. But it's not clear on the question submitted to the department. Hence, we are unable to provide answers because the question is not clear. So I will request that at least the councillor maybe rephrase the question and resubmit the question in the next sitting so that we are able to respond properly to the question. So that will be my plea to council and to you, Speaker, and to the councillor as well. Because we do want to provide information, but the question must be clear so that at least we are able to provide and prepare for proper responses.
Thank you, MMC. I think it's quite clear. And please, for future, all councillors, please, the question that you've sent to the MMC, that's the question that you ask, and not broaden on the question, because obviously you had enough time to formulate your question and direct it in that way. So I'll please ask that Councillor Mate that you resubmit the question, because remember that the MMCs have got to do background work in ensuring that you get the correct answer on the question that you've posed. Councillor Mate.
Thank you, Speaker. For the sake of other people who doesn't know nothing about these questions, I'm very sorry for that. But I delivered the question the way I'm seeing it. And I think Councillor Mabasa, he knows about this issue, and then he's just playing hide and seek games. But furthermore, we're having petition. We're going to hand over the petition, and this is not only the petition that we're having. This is from the community of Ward 16. And we're still having from the community of Marafi Hostel, they also having petitions as well. I'm sorry for everyone who doesn't and who couldn't understand the question,
Mate.
but he knows the question. He knows
Thank
it
you,
very well.
Councillor Mate.
Thanks
Can
a
you
lot.
take your seat? I hope that you've heard what I said. Please resubmit your question. If you want any further questions, petitions, you know where to deliver it as a councillor. The Speaker's office, so that it's recorded and follows the right route. You cannot come to this meeting and then deliver petitions here. We want a record of it so that in case councillors come and ask questions surrounding that particular petition, we can produce the record and the responses to it. Please follow the right procedure. Thank you. Next, councillor. And those questions are raised to the Executive Mayor. Please read out the notice.
Councillors, we're moving to questions for written reply, of which notice has been given in terms of Rule 105, subsection 2 of the Standing Rules and Orders of Council.
Councillor Kwamanda. Executive Mayor. Written questions. That's
Thank you, Speaker. Thank you, Speaker. The responses have been uploaded on the link.
Thank you. Next one.
We're now on the Executive Mayor's question time, of which notice has been given in terms of Rule 112 of the Standing Rules and Orders of Council.
Councillor Kwamanda.
Thank you very much, Speaker. Good morning to all councillors. Executive Mayor, this question is particular around the zero tolerance on corruption by the Democratic Alliance. My question is that how is it that you continue to allow a member of a mayoral committee who is implicated in a corruption charge to continue in their function? Thank you, Speaker.
Executive Mayor.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, the matter in question is under investigation, and for that reason, I will not be entering into the merits of the case. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Executive Mayor. Is there a follow-up? Yes, you're allowed, Councillor Kwamanda.
Thank you very much, Speaker. It's a follow-up. So if I'm not asking that the merits of the case be discussed, if he is part of the investigation, why then does he not step aside to demonstrate what they believe in terms of zero tolerance on corruption? Thank you very much, Speaker.
Executive Mayor.
Thank you, Speaker. The outcome of this case is yet to be determined. Therefore, we're not going to act on anything that we don't know, that has not been pronounced yet. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Executive Mayor. Councillor Arnolds. Councillors, please behave yourself.
Speaker.
Councillor Arnolds.
You've called me to stand up to speak, and I'm worried because there are snakes in the chamber. I'll assist, and I'm scared of snakes. Once again, good morning, Speaker. Good morning to the Secretary of the Minority Opposition Parties, Councillor Kwamanda, and all councillors present. My question to the Mayor, Councillor Mpho Phalatse. As the African Independent Congress and the Minority Opposition Bloc, we'd like to know, why is the GFIS report not making its way to this council? Is it being suppressed because the head has interdicted it not to come here? I thank you.
Executive Mayor.
Thank you, Speaker. I'm not sure which report Councillor Arnolds is referring to, Speaker.
Councillor Arnolds, follow-up question.
Thank you, Speaker. The report where Al Jama is the complainant, and they are a political party represented in this council.
That's the follow-up questions. Executive Mayor, please.
Thank you, Speaker. I don't want to get into a long argument, but Al Jama never actually wrote a report to council. But let me just say that that matter is also being looked into, and there's one report that's outstanding for us to be able to bring it to council. As soon as we have that, it will come to council, hopefully very soon. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Executive Mayor. Councillor Mtina. Councillor Mtina. Councillor, there is no follow-ups on this thing. You better take your seat. No, Councillor Ahmad, please take your seat. I'm not going to allow you. Councillor Mtina, please continue. Thank you.
Thank you, Speaker, and welcome back. Once more, condolences to you and the family. My question, and I hope Mayor will respond to this question, because it looks like she is not ready to respond to questions today. Executive Mayor, following a report that the head of GFIS, General Sibiya, had failed to provide formal authorization from SSA, which entitles him to procure and deploy intelligence gathering equipment within the jurisdiction of the city, the CEM took an administrative decision and withdrew his delegations to the general. The report further referred to the existence of a prima facie evidence and improper conduct on the side of the unit. And despite the report, you as a mayor, you took a decision, Madam Mayor, to force the city manager to reinstate the delegations to General Sibiya despite the lack of SSA clearance or authorization. What really motivated you to do that, Ms. Mayor?
Executive Mayor.
Thank you for the question, Councillor Mgcina. It's linked to the previous question, Mr. Speaker. And as I said, there is a report that's coming to council. We are awaiting a statement from State Security, who were here last week to assess the equipment within GFIS. As it stands, we do not know whether a crime has been committed. We do not know whether there is grounds for that allegation. And only State Security can tell us whether there is an allegation, and that's what we're waiting for. They have been here, they've done their assessment. We will have their written report, and then we will be able to bring the matter to council, and it can be discussed in its entirety. I don't think it's fair to get into it when people in this chamber are not privy to the contents of that report. It has not been tabled yet at mayoral committee or in council, pending the outstanding information from State Security. As soon as that information is available, it will be tabled at the relevant platforms, and it will certainly make its way to council. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Executive Mayor. Councillor Mtrina, is there a follow-up question?
Thank you, Speaker, and thanks, Madam Mayor, for responding. But my question actually refers to you. I want to understand what motivated you to actually take a decision that you have taken. The CM is the accounting officer administratively, and as well, the CM is the accounting officer of this municipality, and GFIS unit reports actually to the CM, and the SSA authorization is an administrative and legal requirement for the head of GFIS to conduct some of the activities they do. Why are you breaking the code of conduct of councillors, Madam Mayor, by interfering in the administrative work of the CM? Your actions are at putting this council at risk and of being a council at risk and of being accomplice to lawful rogue activities of the GFIS. Your actions, Madam Mayor.
Executive Mayor.
It's for this exact reason that I don't want to get into this matter. Councillor Mgcina has made a lot of allegations that are unfounded. And as I said, only State Security can tell us whether there are grounds for any allegations to be brought here. Once we know that, that will happen. And I just want to correct something. General Shadrach Sibia reports functionally to the chairperson of the Group Audit Committee as an independent body of council, in line with the independent nature of Group Forensic Investigation Services, which was established to be independent so that it could investigate any member of this council, including the city manager. I just wish to put that on record.
Thank you, Executive Mayor.
Councillors, we are moving to recommendations to council.
Executive Mayor, recommendations to council.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I hereby table the reports of the executive for consideration by council. Thank you.
Chair of Chairs.
Speaker. Thank you very much, Speaker. I hereby table the reports from the legislature.
Thank you. MMC Not.
Thank you, Speaker. As per the correspondence sent to your office, we have requested that the two motions be moved up into items 1 and 2 respectively, and that the urgency reports that were submitted be moved to around 1 o'clock this afternoon. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Councillor Rapadu. Oh, sorry, Councillor Liatswana. Councillor Morema.
Thank you, Speaker. I just wanted to check, man. I see you're already tabling reports. And in the document I have here, there's still more questions, written questions, to the executive. I see what you have given us in the speaker's list. It's not in line with what I have here in my agenda.
No, the speaker's list is the one that's guiding me.
Speaker, in the document I received here, there's still more questions here that needs to be raised. And you're already moving to the reports. That's the clarity I want.
What
do you mean?
You're talking about written questions. She's already submitted the written questions on the link. I can run a difference in questions. There's written questions. We dealt with the verbal questions.
Yes.
We dealt with the questions to the mayor. Is that clear now?
No, it's not.
Yeah, no, the others are written, and they've been already presented.
Oh, okay. No,
Okay,
thank you.
thanks. Councillors, before we go to the motions that has been requested for, we need 5 minutes just to verify the register. Councillor Arnolds? Can we get the mic to Councillor Arnolds, please?
Speaker, in the light of Councillor not asking for the motions to be moved up, as the minority opposition bloc, we are asking for an hour caucus. We did not. Speaker, am I protected?
Councillor, I've given you time to speak. Please continue speaking.
Okay. We are asking for an hour caucus break so that we can deal with the motions. Thank you.
Councillor, the motions have been circulated in time. Everybody had the motions in time. We cannot allow for an hour break. We'll allow you 20 minutes break to deal with that. Thank you very much.
Speaker,
we can't.
You can't suppress us this way.
You've
Speaker,
had the
you
motions
can't.
for 7 days.
If it was on the other side,
Thank you.
we also had other things, Speaker.
Thank you very much. 20 minutes. Councillor Khadebe.
Thank you, Speaker. As EFF, we don't have the speakers list and those motions can...
No, the motions was distributed, Councillor. You've all got the motions. It's on...
Speakers list.
Yeah, the speakers list you'll get. Thank you. Can I please get the staff just to send the speakers list to the EFF councillors there? They were not in the house when we distributed it. Thank you. We've requested 10 minutes to verify the attendance register so that we can go to the motions. Thanks. Thank you, councillors. Can we take our seats? Councillors, can we settle down, please? Is Councillor Arnold's back? Not yet. Thank you, councillors. Can we please settle down? Thank you very much. Councillors, can we please settle down? Thank you. Councillor Kutrius. Thank you. MMC Ngoveni. Thank you. Councillor Arnolds, you are back, I can see. There's the mic close to you. Thank you, councillors. Councillors, please settle down. Thank you. Thank you. Councillor Arnolds.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, I'm reporting back on why we've asked for a caucus, but I also am very cognizant of two things. In church, we go with the Bible. In council, we go with the rule book. And the rule book doesn't allow you to suppress us if we ask for time. But it's fine. We know that we are suppressed. There's not even Wi-Fi. There's no mics here. But Speaker, we have discussed what we wanted to discuss. And thank you very much for the 20 minutes.
Thank you, Councillor Arnolds. Just the figures, please. Thank you, councillors. According to what we've counted, the numbers out there is 256. So we do have a quorum, and we're going to continue. Councillors, seeing that the first motion is against me, I'm going to ask the Chair of Chairs. I'll recuse myself for the motions and take her seat right in the council chamber. If you can please come forward, Chair of Chairs.
Councillors, we've moved to item 7, which is motions.
Thank you, Acting Speaker. The first motion We're going to ask the proposer, Councillor Ahmed, please, to table your motion.
Thank you, Acting Speaker. I thought you would have used the briefing session during the 20 minutes caucus break. So can I proceed?
Please proceed, Councillor Ahmed.
Okay. So the multi-party opposition, Speaker, the multi-party opposition came to consensus to allow the process of bereavement go, Speaker, because we are Africans above all. So would love to withdraw and sympathize. Pretty soon we'll retable the motion. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Councillor Ahmed. My stay was very short here. Do you want me to do the second one? Okay. Okay. Councillors, the motion that was proposed by Councillor Ahmed, seconded by Councillor Gwamanda, has now been withdrawn. And can we then note that, please? Thank you. Second motion, can we have the proposer, Councillor... oh, sorry, you meant to table them.
The second motion is the motion recommending to the executive an investigation into housing allocation on the Lufareng housing development in Soweto, Ward 53.
Thank you, Acting Speaker. I will now ask Councillor Libatlang to table the motion. My apologies, Councillor Cotrios, you are the proposer of the motion. Could you kindly come and table it?
Chair.
MMC? MMC Ngobeni?
Speaker, we did send the letter to the Speaker. I'm not sure whether you have been appraised on the changes on the proposer and the second. Please confirm.
Yes, I was appraised, and we're just dealing with it now, that the proposer was changed to Councillor Libatlang. But just give me 1 minute with the legal. They do have something to advise me on. Thank you. Councillor Cotrios, you must table the motion, and then you will also then table the amendments, and we will then respond accordingly.
Acting Speaker, good morning. Madam Mayor, Mpopalatsi, Whip of Council, good morning. Colleagues, good morning. I'm first going to read our motion and then I'll do the amendment to the motion and we can take it further. I, Councillor Marcel Couturiers, hereby table the following motion in terms of Standing Rule 89.2b, recommending to the Executive an investigation into the housing allocation in the Lufereng housing development in Soweto, Ward 53. Acting Speaker, with your kind consideration, please, we had submitted this motion on the 26th of April, and whilst the submission has been approved for tabling, the Caucus of Action SA in the City of Johannesburg humbly requests that the name of the proposer of the motion be changed from myself, Councillor Marcel Couturiers, to Councillor Zak Lebatlang, and that I would be the seconder of the motion. Thank you, Acting Speaker.
Councillor Couturiers, we're going to check if the House supports the motion first, and then we'll deal with the amendment. Are there any objections to the motion tabled by Councillor Couturiers? Yea or nay? No. So, yes. No. Yeah? You did table the motion. Okay. So must he table the motion? Okay. Councillor Couturiers, you need to table the motion. Thank you. Councillor Alex?
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, Councillor Couturiers has tabled the item as per programming. There being no opposition, that means the motion then just gets carried as is.
He didn't read the whole motion. That's what legal is requesting for. Councillor Couturiers, can you table the whole motion, please?
Thank you, Speaker. Let's start again. I, Councillor Marcel Couturiers, hereby table the following motion in terms of Standing Rule 89.2b, recommending to the Executive an investigation into the housing allocation on the Lufereng housing development in Soweto, Ward 53. Speaker, we note that in its launch in 2008, this project was projected to comprise of about 6,000 rental units, about 6,000 bonded units and 12,000 RDP units, as well as schools, creches, clinics, agricultural and commercial land.
Councillor Cotriers, please take your seat. Councillor Ngwenya.
Thank you, Acting Speaker. I just wanted to know whether are we allowed to take video calls here? And if we are, let it be known so that we can all do so. If not, can please councillors stop doing so. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Councillor Ngwenya. Can councillors please stop taking videos in the House? Councillor Cotriers, please proceed to table the motion.
Thank you, Speaker. So yes, agricultural and commercial land. Action SA notes that it's been more than a decade since this project started, Speaker. And whilst we know that the project is not yet completed, we see that people have been allocated to the houses. Speaker, spending time in Ward 53 canvassing, we found out that there exists widespread concerns within the surrounding community that allocation of these houses have been allegedly corrupted in such a manner that beneficiaries now include relatives, partners, and politically connected people, as well as undocumented foreign nationals. Speaker, it is with this that I request that Council, that the Executive undertake an independent investigation into the above allegations, and that the outcome of which should be presented to Council within 90 days. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you. So again, are there any objections to the motion? No, so the noes have it. The motion is carried. Thank you very much.
Which one is it? One next. Thank you very much, Chair of Chairs. Secretary.
Councillors, we are back on recommendations to Council. And the reports are as follows, which is item 1, approval of the consolidated 2020-21 City of Johannesburg annual report and annual reports of the municipal entities for the year ended 30 June 2021. Read together with item 54, which is an oversight report on the 2020-21 annual report of the City of Johannesburg by the Municipal Public Accounts Committee, abbreviated MPAC.
Thank you. Councillor Chairperson Nontenja. The mic is at the back of you. Thanks.
Thank you, Speaker. Executive Mayor, Chief Whip of Council, fellow councillors, I rise to table the consolidated 2020-2021 City of Johannesburg annual report and annual reports of municipal entities for the year ended 30th June 2021, together with the oversight report of the municipal public accounts. Mr. Speaker, the MPEC has worked tirelessly on behalf of Council to produce this oversight report, despite the report being tabled in Council late at the end of February, due to late submission by management to AGSA. The committee was also faced with the distractions in the process by the council recess and the Easter holidays. However, the committee soldiered on to ensure that the oversight report is submitted to council within 60 days of tabling in council in terms of MFMA section 129 subsection 1. Since oversight report started in March, the committee met 12 times, asked the city manager and his team 110 written questions, received over 120 reports, hosted a roundtable with stakeholders, and also sent invites to for public inputs on newspapers. It is unfortunate that I must report to Council that many of the historical problems faced by the City of Johannesburg are still present in the 2020-2021 annual report. The procurement and contract management is abysmal, and numerous report findings continue. Non-compliance with a wide range of legislation is evident. Accounting officers and senior management are not sufficiently implementing internal controls. Debt impairments and electricity losses remain stubbornly high. Accountability and consequence management continues to be problematic. A high level of vacancies within the City of Johannesburg is problematic, and it's been raised over a number of years by the AGSA. Despite Council approving the establishment of the disciplinary board in April last year, it is with great concern to inform the Council that to date the board is non-functional. The disciplinary board is required by the municipal regulations on financial misconduct procedures and criminal proceedings of 2014 to hear the allegations of financial misconduct and monitoring the institution and disciplinary proceedings against alleged transgressors. Mr. Speaker, I must assure Council that MPEC will continue contributing to creating an environment for improved performance. MPEC will re-establish a subcommittee to manage the investigation and recovery or write-off of UIFW expenditure, taking into consideration that we are number 2 from the top on those who have most UIFWs as a municipality. We will continue to make many carefully considered recommendations to Council and track implementation therefore.
Chair, your time
Yes,
is up.
Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Mkuna.
Thank you, Speaker. Greetings to the Speaker of Council, fellow councillors, Action SA, Caucus Leader, MMC Funzingobeni, and the residents of the City of Johannesburg. Action SA notes with great interest the oversight report on the 2020-2021 annual report of the City of Johannesburg by the MPEC Committee. This report has brought to the fore the real state of the city in actual numbers, in factual findings by the Auditor General, and most importantly, in real life and recorded responses by the various entity CEOs, CFOs, accounting officers, and many other senior managers in the 12 reviewed entities in the city of Joburg. This report reflects the true reflection of the underperformance by the city and its entities, including repeated material findings by the Auditor General, the high incurrence of irregular expenditure, and the absence of consequence management. Procurement in the city continues to be a big contributor to the poor audit outcomes. This is the result of inadequate implementation of internal controls within the entities. Coupled with irregular expenditure, it has increased to unacceptable levels in the city of Johannesburg, as has been the abuse of the MFMA regulations 36 of the Municipal Supply Chain Management. Consequence management for poor performance and non-compliance with legislation is inadequately implemented. The root cause is the failure of senior management to hold officials accountable. There has been minimal disciplinary action taken against senior managers who have not adhered to delegated responsibilities, particularly the prevention on unauthorized, irregular, or fruitless and wasteful expenditure. Disciplinary cases, in most of the times, and investigations into improper conduct by employees take too long to complete, undermining consequence management and costing the city costing the city through a suspension with pay. It is unacceptable that despite the terms of reference for disciplinary board approved in council during the year under review, to date the board is still not functional. Action SA supports that council approves the oversight report of MPEC. Action SA also supports that the office of the city manager, together with group governance, provide a progress report to MPEC on the functionality of a disciplinary board by May of 2021. Officials who do not implement the resolutions of council and recommendations of Auditor General must be appropriately sanctioned in line with applicable legislation and policies. We cannot continue to operate in autopilot. The people of the city of Johannesburg are relying on us to make their lives better, so we need to do better. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Dandra. Is Councillor Dandra here? Hey, that's why we're quiet today. I want noise. You wanna. I didn't notice.
Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you.
Revolutionary greetings to the EFF caucus leader, especially Lara Serute, and fellow councillors. As the EFF, we approve the report. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Renton.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Just get my papers. Mr. Speaker, councillors, residents of Johannesburg. The Auditor General of South Africa tries with professionalism and tempered words to describe the situation observed through the recorded actions of the executive in the city of Johannesburg during the budget cycle of 2020-2021 to come to a nuanced conclusion. But what the AG is saying with padded and diplomatic words is that we have a city that is failing to progress. A city that fails to progress along the lines of the stepping stones provided by laws, regulations, and standard accounting practices. It also fails to progress along the road of its own objectives. The overall audit outcome is classified as stagnated, with what was observed out of sync with what was reported, and findings that have been made repeatedly in the past, repeated yet again. Targets not achieved, maintenance neglected, lenders hesitant to invest in a city that is standing still. In the year under review, which is the 2021 financial year, with the SDBIP compiled under the then ANC government, Irregular expenditure has increased by 27%, with a considerable part of that increase due to non-compliance to supply chain management legislation. And as the AG states almost with a sigh, that as reported in previous years, that the city continues to struggle to ensure compliance with laws and regulations, especially with regards to expenditure, procurement, and contract management. When confidence goes, things fall apart, and it can take years to repair the damage. An international public crisis may well be given as the reason as to why the city stopped moving forward. But as a city, it is just like any other organism that needs to respond to the environment that it is in. It needs to develop the skills and the tools to be able to survive, adapt, and thrive, no matter what kind of chronic stress or acute shocks they may experience. This new administration and the people of Johannesburg, we will build the resilient strategies to adapt and thrive and go forward so that we can move forward. We look forward and have faith in the new administration in improving the internal controls in the city, applying consequent management to the actions of those that transgress. The delinquent behavior observed over the years will be reined in and changed. Additionally, the oversight structure we serve on will commit to monitor the implementation of the prevention controls. The DA supports the recommendations listed in this report, and as the Democratic Alliance, we are committed through our manifesto to governing in the interests of the people through best practices, reducing fruitless and wasteful expenditure, have far-reaching stakeholder engagements, and that residents feel that they have a stake in the development of the city they live in. We focus on the basics, we get things done, we have a record of action and a promise of more. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Rankin. MMC Sadabi. MMC Not.
Thank you, Speaker. Apologies for the confusion. I think from the side of the executive, we note all of the comments, and I think we're all very well aware that our country and our city at large has gotten to a point where UIFW has become a huge problem. Consequence management needs to be implemented, and various other endeavours need to be undertaken by our government in order to ensure that we are spending money properly and where it needs to be spent. As the multi-party government, the executive has implemented a number of initiatives that will help see us into an era that where money is hopefully spent in the right places, and we can ensure that we are not misrepresenting the people of the city. In terms of that, Moody's has very recently, in April, upgraded our outlook to stable, which is really good news considering the leadership that we have in the city. The Executive Mayor has also formed a relationship with the Auditor General to consult on an ongoing basis and not at the end of our processes, so that we can continue oversight in terms of implementing our turnaround strategy. This will improve our audit outcomes. There are also ongoing engagements with Group Risk and Assurance Services, with all of the MMCs and departments, so that we can start implementing recommendations in terms of the turnaround strategy and addressing UIFW. We've had various workshops on supply chain and procurement, which will address the key issues there. The filling of key vacancies within the Section 56 management is really important. You need captains at the ships of these departments to ensure that consequence management is undertaken under the City Manager's Office. The Mayor has also placed a moratorium on Regulation 32 and 36. We are at a point where the deviations have become excessive, and these have been linked to the Group Forensic and Investigation Services Department. In terms of finance, the MMC Sotheby's department is tracking the AG findings and is undertaking Operation Clean Audit. We will also be undertaking, what is currently going on within the city is the proper composition of the disciplinary board to deal with financial misconduct cases. We have had a very questionable composition in terms of that board, and that report should be coming to council very soon. I think it's very clear that the multi-party government is adamant that we will address these failures within the city. They are historical, they have been building up, and we cannot continue in this manner. And we do look forward, both from myself and MMC Sotheby, to engage with the Impact Committee on an ongoing basis so that we can ensure that oversight leads to implementation. Thank you.
Thank you, MMC. Chairperson Nontenja.
Thank you, Speaker. A word of gratitude to the dedicated members of the committee and the support staff for their hard work. In accordance with Section 129, subsection 1 of the MFMA, MPEC recommends that Council approves with reservations the 2020-2021 annual report of the city and approves the recommendations as listed in the report together with the recommendations of the Section 79 committees and other advisory committees. Thank you.
Councillors, the recommendations are on pages 1.5 and 54.32 to 54.38. Are the items agreed to? Thank you very much.
We are moving on to item 2, which is the performance assessment report for the Community Development Department for the 2021-22 financial year for the period July to September 2021. Read together with item 3, which is a performance assessment report for the Joburg City Theatre for the 2021-22 financial year for the period July to September 2021. And also read with item 4, which is a performance assessment report for the Joburg City Parks and Zoo for the 2021-22 financial year for the period July to September 2021. And also read with item 36, which is an oversight report of the Section 79 Community Development on the 2021-22 first quarter performance assessment report of the Department of Community Development, Joburg City Theatre and Joburg City Parks and Zoo for the period July to September 2021.
Councillor Sifumba, Chairperson. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Greetings to the Executive Mayor, the City Manager, the Chief Whip of Council, the Chair of Chairs, all chairpersons of respective Section 79 committees, the leaders of all political parties, including Councillor Ahmad, fellow councillors, the managers, officials of council, our distinguished guests, and fellow citizens. Mr. Speaker, I rise on behalf of Section 79 Oversight Committee on Community Development to table the Community Development 2021 First Quarter Oversight Report on the Department of ComDev, the Johannesburg City Theatres, and the Johannesburg City Parks and Zoo for the 2021-22 First Quarter Performance Reports for the period of July to September 2021 for consideration by Council. Mr. Speaker, before I take my seat, let me highlight some of the key committee observations highlighted in the Oversight Report. It is without question that the Department of Community Development is the heartbeat of service delivery in the city of Johannesburg. We often refer to it as the portfolio that takes you from cradle to grave. It is through this portfolio, Mr. Speaker, that COJ Municipality continues to promote a city where community development, personal growth, and social mobility are enhanced so that challenges of poverty, vulnerability, inequality, and social exclusion are fundamentally addressed. Mr. Speaker, it saddens me that the performance of ComDev department has been deteriorating for the past few years. For the past few years, Mr. Speaker, ComDev committee has consistently raised the issue of non-expenditure of capital budget, resulting in poor implementation of capital projects. By the end of the first quarter, Mr. Speaker, the department spent, wait for it, 0% of their allocated 144 million capital budget. Mr. Speaker, this is a true and total indictment to the people of Johannesburg. Our communities have been subjected to this poor performance for far too long. We urge the department to fast-track implementation of capital projects as per the approved project plans as provided in their 2021-22 SDBIP. Mr. Speaker, also, allow me to humbly caution the MMC of ComDev that overrun projects do negatively impact on the city's image. Mr. Speaker, to make matters worse, the facilities that are under the custodianship of ComDev are appalling, and the department is clearly failing to maintain these facilities. The target for expenditure on operational budget for repairs and maintenance was not achieved by the end of first quarter, even the end of second quarter, even we hope for the future quarter they will, by the grace of God. The majority of ComDev's facilities are dilapidated. The delays in maintaining these facilities remain a concern. Speaker, in terms of the Constitution of South Africa, local government is meant to be the coal face of service delivery. It is disastrous that ComDev continues to fail the people of Johannesburg in this regard. It is also unfortunate that the victim in this conundrum remains the residents of the city. Mr. Speaker, this indictment to our people and those responsible for this poor performance should surely be dealt with. Let me assure this House that through the powers vested in myself as a chairperson and the committee as clearly articulated in the standing rules and orders of council, Community Development Committee will continue to robustly engage with the department as part of our oversight responsibility and ensure that
Chair,
the performance is
your time
improved. Thank you very much, Speaker.
Thank you. Councillor Arnolds.
Thank you, Speaker. And once again, het raak holleriggery. Het raak regtig holleriggery. Arm is niks, maar dom is lelik. Speaker, good afternoon. Good afternoon to the councillors and to everybody in council. Speaker, I rise on behalf of the African Independent Congress as well as the minority opposition parties. Mr. Speaker, we note this report, but we also have our concerns. The concern that we are having is that we hope that the moratorium of employment in all the departments will be lifted ASAP, because that will assist all of us to have service delivery. And also that the issue of security be tasked and urgently tasked so that we could have decent security, because that is the main reason why we are having the situations that we are having within the departments, and that is an all-round issue in all the departments. We all know that since the insourcing, our facilities could not be looked after properly as well as maintained properly. And we as the African Independent Congress and the minority opposition parties note and we say yes to the reports.
Councillor Libotse. Can I get a mic there, please?
Revolutionary greeting, Speaker, Executive Mayor, and all protocol observed. Not forgetting the first ever growing organization soon to lead, the Red Sea, under the leadership of our caucus leader, Siphetlela Raserote. Speaker, I stand on item 2, 3, and 4, and 5. Speaker, we as the EFF, we know the report. However, we are concerned with JPC, which is failing and delaying progress in our communities, with so many reports not submitted in time, including work done and receipt of their allocated budget. So we're not much in the clear of whether the reports we keep on reading claiming the development project and which have not begun or been completed. I'm standing and representing the pillar number 3 that calls for building state and government capacity, which will lead to abolishment of tenders. We therefore request true reflection of JPC reports. Item 3, we as the EFF, we also note the concerns, but number 1, that we have few concerns that include the theaters. It is not good that the theater centers are still limited to few areas of the city. We also note that through Joburg Theatre, it makes money through Arts Alive, but the spending of Arts Alive is almost equal to money made from it. The problem with JCT is that it spends a lot of money in Johannesburg Ballet and Orchestra. The question is that whether the spending is reaching the poor and the underdeveloped communities in the city, or is it made for the rich and the better? Item number 4, we as the EFF, we know the report. However, we are very much concerned about the following. City Park is currently failing our communities when it comes to grass cutting and open spaces, and maintenance of our cemeteries are becoming in a very heartbreaking state. We are still in a nightmare of the state of our cemeteries, while people keep on paying money for burials, but they can't maintain the cemeteries. And the city parks should also look deeper into the open spaces and continue to monitor the open spaces and to develop more parks for our children for a safety place to play on, rather than the open spaces becoming a dumping site. Can the city parks please look deeper into all the areas, not to focus only in the suburb areas? Even township also play a big part in the city as well. So they must never be forgotten. And what are we waiting for the open spaces to be like this, becoming dumping site and forever growing big grasses? Are we waiting for dead bodies to be discovered in those open spaces so that they can be given attention? I thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. MMC Harris.
Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, can you hear me? Greetings to you, greetings, Madam Mayor, MMCs, councillors, visitors. Can I say a special greeting to the Dean of the Anglican Church in Johannesburg, Dean Lwati. Welcome to you. Thank you so much for gracing us with your presence. We note the reports for the period July to September 2021. I am grateful for some of the comments that are made because it highlights, I think, the thinking of people that had been in this position and now are finding it so easy to throw stones at a chaotic period that was created by them. Chaos theory talks about if a butterfly flaps its wings in a jungle in Brazil, it will cause a tsunami in Japan. And I think what has happened is that from 2016, there's been structural mismanagement, and everything that has been wrong about ComDev has been happening under the watch of certain people, and certain policies and procedures have been put into place so that these failures in service delivery will take place. For example, we have within our division a facilities enhancement unit, but that facilities enhancement unit is dependent on JDA, JPC, JRA, Joshco to do work for them. So when there's no money spent, it simply means that the system is such that we have to give framework orders to people, and those people will then find their connections and whatever it is within SCM to give and dish out largesse to fellow councillors. If you look at the grass cutting, there's a very interesting one, is that whilst Johannesburg City Parks and Zoos are responsible for grass cutting. We have everybody from the national government, from provincial government, JRA, housing, Joshco, everybody has got a piece of budget to cut grass, but when they see grass growing neck high in a provincial road, they say JCPZ is not doing its work. But in reality, they are doing their work. If you look at these open fields that my councillor from the EFF was talking about, those are provincially owned pieces of land, and province has to cut it. You can't blame us and want to kick us because those pieces of land are not attended to. But let me just say this here. We are challenged by transversal dependencies. There's disjointed relationships amongst us. We are not getting to the nuts and bolts of youth employment, women employment.
MMC, there's a point of order. Councillor Musetla.
Thank you, Speaker. I'm humbly requesting the MMC not to mislead Council, because the Council of the EFF did not point to an address area that was not cut. So you are saying those areas are provincial areas. How do you know that she was speaking about areas that are provincial? But also,
Councillor Musitla, please. Ons kan try to explain hulle MMC. Please take your seat. It's not a point of order. No, you can't. You can't. It's not a point of order. No, I've heard you.
Can you correct me?
I've heard you.
Me when I'm not done.
I've heard you.
How have you heard me?
But you really not on a point. And I'd read.
But you must teach him with.
No, please take your seat. MMC, please continue. Thank you.
Apologies for that interjection. Youth, women, people with disabilities, they need our support as a city. And all I can say, after having listened to all of the criticisms from people that have been here before, all I can say is this, is that we are committing ourselves going forward to spend money that we are supposed to spend on CAPEX. It may not look like that, but it's the structure that prevents it. And we commit ourselves to continuing with the good work that has been done in the past, and there certainly has been good work. I think it's time that we started to recognize that there are problems, but we also need to recognize that exceedingly great facilities and assets are part of the city, and we need to exploit that. Thank you.
Thank you. Chairperson Sifumba.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Noting the observations cited in the tabled oversight report for community development, Section 79 Committee recommends that Council approves the Department of Community Development, Joburg City Theatres and Joburg City Parks and Zoo 2021-22 first quarter performance report for the period of July to September, taking into consideration all comments and recommendations made on page 12 of the oversight report. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. Councillors, the recommendations are on pages 2.44, 3.23, 4.4, and 36.13. Is the recommendations agreed to? Thank you.
We are now on item 5, which is a performance assessment report for the Group Corporate and Shared Services Department for the 2021-22 financial year for the period July to September 2021. read together with item 37, which is an oversight report of the Section 79 Corporate and Shared Services Committee on the 2021 and 2022 first quarter budget and performance assessment report of Group Corporate and Shared Services for the period July to September 2021.
Councillor van der Schuyf.
Thank you very much, Speaker. I, Karen van der Schuyf, rise to table the first quarter oversight report of the Section 79 Corporate and Shared Services Committee on the first quarter performance of Group Corporate and Shared Services for the 2021-2022 financial year. Since this first quarter report precedes the second quarter report, which was already noted and passed by Council, there is not much to say about the first quarter report, but to call it historic. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor van der Schuyf. Councillor Nhlapo. Councillor Nhlapo.
Greetings, Speaker, Mayor, EFF Caucus Leader, Councillor Spetle Raserute, and all protocol observed. I'm standing on item number 5 and 37. The EFF note the report with concerns. The Group Corporate Shared Services is the nuts and bolts of the city's administration. As such, it needs to be solid, dependable, and reliable. The Directorate was set up to streamline the city's administration, making sure it is run efficiently and professional lines. Although it has managed to cover 81.25 of its objectives, but it has failed to increase productivity improvement. Therefore, it is not in accordance with its guidelines to improve efficiency with the city. With regards to CAPEX, we ask the Group Corporate and Shared Services be cautious with its expenditures so that in the next quarter, CAPEX should be on the achieved KPI. With regard to the performance management system, we trust and ensure that it will be efficient in terms of objectives of the GCSS and also meets its professional lines. We also note and approve the oversight report of Section 79 Corporate Shared and Services Committee on the 2021-22 first quarter budget and performance assessment report of GCSS for the period July to September 2021, with concerns of the 18.75% KPI, which were not achieved in the first quarter. As the GCSS fundamentals are efficiency and professionalism, we as the EFF would like the GCSS department to pay a concern and a little bit more attention towards the 3 KPIs which were not achieved, so as to meet its objectives fully, and may not forget your objectives of your procurement for the historical disadvantaged communities. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Nhlapo. MMC not.
Noted.
It's noted by the MMC. Chairperson van der Schuyf.
I recommend that Council approves the first quarter performance report of Group Corporate and Shared Services for the 2021-2022 financial year. Thank you very much.
Councillors, the recommendations are on 5.3 and 37.6 up to 37.7. Are the items agreed to? Thank you. Councillors, at this point, we're breaking for lunch. Please come back sharply at 2 o'clock. Thanks.
Wena
bakubonile. Hayi wena uphela ukudla wena.